Hey Internet, and welcome back to some KSP sightseeing adventures. Today we are going out to two remote locations. We are going to be flying out to two of the Julian moons, the moons of Bop and Pole, or is it Pole and Bop? We'll see when we get there. And also flying out to Eeloo. This will be two separate missions using largely similar vehicles. This is the Eeloo spacecraft. It has the lander and the transport on board, but the crew is not on board. They'll be coming up in a separate launch. All right, let's get the Eeloo craft up to orbit. All right, we are happily supersonic and cruising up to around 130 to 140 kilometers. We'll be using mostly liquid fuel oxygen engines to get us the primary burn out Eeloo, but we probably will still need to light those nuclear engines, which means we'll probably wind up doing two orbits in order to get the full final push out to Eeloo. Yeah, something I'm doing keeps toggling that deferred rendering thing on. I don't know what it is. There he goes again. Is it Shift D that's doing it? Yeah, 135 kilometers. That will do it. Then those antennas, but I don't think they're going to have the range to get out to Eeloo anyways, but at least we brought some along this time. 815 meters per second to complete the orbit, 2690 left in this stage. So yeah, we'll definitely be igniting the nuclear engines for probably around 300 or 400 meters per second. Powered by a cluster of 6 skippers, the stage has pretty decent thrust-to-weight ratio and not even bad ISP. What are those skippers actually? Kind of don't remember. 320? Okay, not that great. Slightly overcooked it there, but we're pretty decent orbit. We'll go ahead and get that crew up here now. All right, and on board to Eeloo, we have Valentina and new recruits, Eldard and Raoul. Our main three Kerbals will be going up next on the mission out to Jewel, but for now, we'll go ahead and get this crew up. All right, let's get this crew up to the Eeloo craft. Looks like that storm cloud just barely missed us. All right, second stage, ignition. Ooh, we drifted a little off course there. A little shallow, but I think we'll manage. Picking up a little drag from the atmosphere still. Power jettison. We should be good to set up that rendezvous. Get a short kick to orbit and a rendezvous burn. Wow, this thing has a lot of delta V. Probably a little more than we needed. Even the return capsule itself has 506 delta V on its own. Ooh, looks like quite an inclination change in that burn. Wow, didn't notice that. Alright, that should get us close enough. Let's just drop our second stage. 0.4. That should do it. Zip around. Looks like we'll be docking in the dark, but I think this thing has lights that will make it a little bit easier. Bring that gap down when we slow down a bit. Okay, we are less than a meter away from our target, which will be another minute and a half away. We'll just coast in. Well, we're about 30 seconds away, but let's make sure we toggle these lights on real quick. Yeah, they are on. Okay. Ooh, these things are low thrust. That's more like it. Looks like we're coming at it from the bottom there. Translate a little further away. Let's bring in that turn. Target that docking port. And start slowing her down. Oh, I don't know why I'm carrying off this whole stack of mass here. Let's just drop the rear engine. There we go. No more maneuverable now, I think. Okay, welcome aboard. You're going to be on board this one for a while. Let's go ahead and get that Eeloo burn set up. Oh, we were pretty close there. Okay, as we're coming about to our burn here, we have almost 9-minute burn, and a fairly efficient descent apparently. It looks like we're only needing around not even 200 meters per second, or just a little over 200 meters per second burn off of our liquid fuel oxidizer stage. So that's pretty good. I'm going to actually quick save here, and if it turns really lousy and the ejection burn just doesn't come together as planned, then we can reload. But I'm going to go ahead and try to do it all in one burn because the second stage, of course, it's got four nuclear engines on it, so we'll have some thrust to weight ratio as opposed to no thrust to weight ratio. So looks like we're just about lined up there. Make sure it says starting burn 18 minutes. We're going to start it at around 16, maybe 15 and change. And quick save here just in case. If it doesn't work out, we'll make it in 2 burns and take advantage of O-berth as well as probably get a more accurate ejection anyways. Okay, giving it an extra 2.5 minutes buffer there. Let's light up those skippers. Run this stage to completely empty, and then light up those nukes. All right, drop that good stage with big engines on it. Now, hopefully these light up the nukes. Why are there other engines there? What are these? This is for the lander, I assume. Didn't that man say check your staging? You know what? I don't trust it. I'm just going to activate them manually. There we go, all four, and light. So this is about 2 minutes and 41 seconds. We were pretty close on that estimate on the 2.5 minutes, so this might actually work out all right. Valentine is looking a little spaced out. Looks like that's going to leave us with around 5,500 to 5,700 meters per second at delta V. And of course that includes our lander and return stage, which we don't have to bring everything home. Alright, let's shut this one down and see how far off course we are. Oh, we are significantly off course. I think we overburned it a little. Let's get an adjustment here. Oh, we're under a couple 100,000. We should be not bad. 464, that's a lot more than I'd hoped. You can see we're way further out there than we'd hoped to be. I mean, you know, let's actually lower our apoapsis and use that as part of our mid-course correction. There we go. If that should come off, that'll get us pretty close. We can adjust that as we get further in. All right, 1,278 meters per second in 16 days. So it's going to be a long one. All right, let's light those nukes. We'll be back in around 8 minutes. There we go, closing in. See how it looks. Try to get that equatorial orbit here. Perfect. Let's see what it would take to bring it in a bit. How high are we? Looks like a couple million. 31 million. Yeah, let's try to bring that in. We'd like nothing ridiculously close, as it is going to take a little while to slow down. So let's target for around 500,000. 3 meter per second burn. Just manually turn that, no SAS. Just give it a push here. We got lots of torque control on this, because we have a pretty sizable reaction wheel right in the middle here. Don't want to use RCS because it's just going to push us further off course here. And we don't need to wait that 18 minutes for the burn. We can do it from right where we are as soon as we're on course. There we go. Lock it in. Getting some wobble here. Before we get this burn underway, let's let this wobble dissipate. Okay, I think we're pretty neutral. That should help there with the wobble. Ourselves back on course. Oh yeah, no more wobble. Look at that, all cleared up. Just a little strutting involved. We'll do this from map view, and we'll do it with RCS. We should have pretty decent RCS control here. Unless we're drifting too far off. Let's turn off SAS. Tons of monopropellant on board. Let's use that to bring ourselves in. You can see already looks very different. Of course, this is parallax continued. Looks absolutely amazing here. We're very excited to see what it looks like. I think Matt tried to show us what it looked like on the weekend, but for some reason didn't quite come together. Okay, that's looking pretty good there. It's going to take 9 minutes to slow ourselves down. And if we're not careful, that 9 minutes will go by very quickly. We might just escape Eeloo. So we'll have to be very careful when we get out there. So let's set our alarm clock for the sphere of influence. That's 3 years. That's a long time from now. Those guys are going to have a great coast out there. Let's get them comfortable at least here. All right, Adard. Let's have a look around. Interesting view right out the window. Interesting view out there of the truss structure. We got the doors open here to our lander. We'll take this down to Eeloo when we get there in, oh, I don't know, 3 years or so. Oh, wow, so we could see, we can transfer through here. So at least we can get this way. We can open the hatch here, and open the hatch here. Oh, now we can get through. We can only open it from one side. Pre-IVA doesn't look like it's playing quite nice with these parts here. Good thing this isn't going to be a real long-term serious playthrough. Alright, let's switch to Valentina. So, something that I didn't know that you can do here with KSP is that you can double-click on a window, and you can view out that window. It gives you kind of like a your eyes against the glass kind of a view. And this works on other windows as well. So if let's see if I can get the other crew. We click on this window, and we're staring out the window now. I didn't realize you could do this, and I've only been playing KSP for, I don't know, 10,000 hours. Well, there's something new today, so if you want to look out that window, I bet I can just double click on it. Yep. I can double click on it and even look at myself through the corner of my eye. Well, that's not unnerving at all, is it? Alright, well, let's get these guys tagged 3 years from now, and let's skip ahead from now to the Creme Brulee window. You guys have a good trip out there. We'll see you in a couple of years. And we are ready to go out to the moons of Jewel. We're going to be visiting Bopp and Paul. We may have enough fuel to do some more sightseeing. We'll see what happens when we get there. Let's get up into space. Alright, you can see this is pretty much the same rocket that we used to get out to Eeloo. They're about a year underway. They still have 2 years to go before they get there. This is basically the same rocket, has on board this same lander, and is really just a slightly altered version with less Delta V. Which means we'll still have to fly a crew up here on a separate launch. You can see there we have 4 of those engines locked down, and 4 of them have the gimbal enabled. Combined, they are getting us up to an altitude of around 130 kilometers. 131 and change, that'll do it. Let's drop that booster. Shed a little bit more weight upstairs. Seven skippers power our second stage. The final stage, of course, is nuclear. Crazy little reverb there off of those skipper engines. I'm not sure if that's intended or not. All right, let's get the crew up. We are out on the launch pad with the original three, the original badass crew, Jeb, Bob, Bill. We are doing a night launch, or just into dusk, I guess, as our Jewel craft will be just flying overhead right about now. Let's get him up and get him out to Jewel. All right, we were nicely through Max Q here, supersonic, and ascending up to our Jewel spacecraft. This is powered by a single mainsail on the first stage and a skipper on the second stage, with enough delta V to get us pretty much into a lunar orbit at the moment. But we won't need anywhere near that much delta V. We're just aiming for low Kerbin orbit, rendezvousing with our Jewel craft. Climbed right back into daylight there. And shutting down engines. We'll coast to Apoapsis and drop that escape tower here in a moment. In the meantime, we're hoping to achieve Jewel orbit without any fuel from our spacecraft. So hopefully, when we get our Jewel encounter, we'll be pulling ourselves into a Jewel orbit using Tylo as a gravity assist. So I'll be demonstrating my method of doing a gravity break around Jewel orbit. This may not be the best way to do a gravity break, but it's the way that I know how to do it. So let's hope it works out. Let's jettison that tower. Coasting up to our Apoapsis now. Alright, getting ourselves up into a nice round orbit. We're still pretty close to 0.3 degrees there. So it should be a pretty close encounter once we get it set up. We'll slightly overcook that one. Let's drop that bottom stage. Do a little maneuvering here. And try to un-overdo that burn. Bring her down to around 80 if we can. Alright, we are getting close there. We've just finished our rendezvous encounter, closing in. We dropped our main propulsion stage here for our command modules, but I'm going to need that to dock here, so we're coming in still pretty quick. Swing around, fly in on RCS. Target that docking port here. Find it. Quick there. Try to line it on that, I think. There we go. Okay guys, get comfy. You're going to be on board this thing for a while. Alright, we have our burn set up to get us out to Jewel, and our Eeloo burn went fairly well actually in one burn. Even though this has less delta V, you see we're going to be digging into that nuclear stage here. I think those 4 engines in the nuclear stage are really helping us along, kind of compensating for their general lack of thrust to weight ratio. So We're going to go ahead and just do a single burn to get us out to Jewel, just in case. F5. I can see here that our staging isn't quite right either. What do we have here? This is one more quick day for good luck. That burn coming up in a couple minutes here. We'll start it a little bit early, as we do know that nuclear stage is really low thrust to weight ratio. And even though I believe that the extended burn indicator is supposed to be taking that into account, yeah, we'll give it a little bit extra. Say a minute 15 seconds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and light up them skippers. Okay, shut her down. That stage clear here a bit, and light up the news. That's more like it. Reporting a little over 6,000 meters per second delta V. I think that's about right. It should be a lot to get us out there and back, as we don't plan to be burning any of this liquid fuel as we pull into a Joule orbit. It'll be a high orbit, pretty elliptical orbit once we get there. But we're hoping that we can spend maybe less than 150, 200 meters per second in deep space to make a course correction, which will get us into a Tylo encounter, pull us into an orbit around Joule. We'll see how that works. We're getting pretty close there. Let's shut down that burn indicator and straight prograde. Oh, did we just burn past it? No. Keep going. All right, that is looking great. We're going to have to do a course correction sometime halfway out there, but for now, that gets us on the way out of Kerbin and on the way out to Joule. Let's set up some alarms here. SOI, get us out of Kerbin. Sneak past the moon. And look at that. Just because you expand the size of the UI, you don't get to put the ascending and descending nodes exactly where they're supposed to be. But it's about here. We are 10.4 degrees off, so that's not too surprising, but we should be able to still get a good gravity assist here. And we want our encounter with Tylo to be roughly at our periapsis as we're coming into the Julian system. You can see that our target position is just about maybe 3/4 of an orbit, maybe that's a third of an orbit, I guess, away from us. So we need to change our approach time. So we're not going to use our prograde and retrograde. We're going to use the what are these? Radial ins and radial outs to adjust our timing. So we've given it about half an orbit there. So let's actually go the other direction since it's closer. You can see that they're getting much more closer here, but obviously we're far too close to Joule for this to work correctly. So we'll come close like that, but then we'll just adjust going back and forth. Radial out, adjusting radial out, and then adjusting our retrograde here. And we're pretty close actually. Yeah, there we go. We need to slow down our steps here a little bit as we're getting into the fine-tuning stage. We're going to want to bring our approach into Tylo here quite close. Probably to within around 20 kilometers. You see we're getting that Julian orbit there as we're getting our Tylo approach narrowed down. So we're at 4.4 degrees from our target moon here, Paul. It's easier to start at Paul and come in than it is to go out. So we're going to target Paul. We're going to tweak this just one more. 0.6, 4.4, 4.2, 3.7. That's about as good as we're going to get, I think. So we're coming in at 3.7 degrees to Paul, and we're going to be in a pretty tight orbit. So you may even have to get a gravity boost to get us out a little bit further, but there we are. We have 6.7 meter per second. That's not bad. That's not bad. We may find that Tylo is going to toss us out. We don't have that lathe encounter like we were going to, but we do have Tylo pulling us into an orbit at 3.3 degrees from our target pole. Going to come nice and close down here to Val and lathe. All right, well, let's 6.7 meters per second. Can't get a better deal than that. Eeloo and Jewel are going to be arriving at their destinations relatively close together. Eeloo, 134 days and 2 years. Jewel, 273 days and 2 years. Our next encounter we need to deal with will be our Jewel correction burn, 320 days. All right, we'll see you there. All right, we're out at our course correction burn. And even though it's only 6.7 meters per second, it thinks that's going to take us 2 seconds to do. We'll run at maybe half throttle and let it take 4 seconds. And we want to keep a close eye on our encounter out here. Quick save for good luck. And let's get underway. Let's finish up the adjustment here on RCS. All right, we have our Tylo encounter. Let's get that periap system tracking. And keeping an eye on our hull orientation. And there we go. We are now in a Julian orbit, or will be. And there we go. We're flattening out that orbit there, getting closer to Paul. 3.6. Let's fine tune this. 3.67. 4.3. Yeah, 3.3 degrees. We just got an encounter there. So let's park it here. We are coming in at around 1,000 kilometers. That's going to give us a decent view, at least, of Tylo. Not quite a beautiful view, but it'll give us a decent view of Tylo. And we shall see Tylo here in just about 2 years and 2 weeks. We'll see you there. But first, we have our Eeloo mission. Let's check these guys out, see how they're doing. They seem like they're doing good. They can see Jewel. Believe in that. Actually, I think they're going to be passing Jewel here fairly quickly. Oh no, they just passed the Jewel orbit height altitude. All right, now they just passed the Jewel altitude. So what are we looking like here? We still got our encounter, got a burn coming up here in just about 1.5 years. Let's get that underway. Quick save for good luck. All right, so it says it's going to take 9 minutes to slow us down. So let's actually do this a little bit different. So that node is here. So let's come in even before it asks us to. Getting pretty big there. Slow down. Okay. Burn time 9 minutes, start in 14, so I think that's pretty reasonable. Let's go ahead and trust it. Right, 30 seconds, our orbital insertion burn. Eeloo's looking pretty beautiful, I gotta say. Very impressive. Nice work there, Lynx. Alright, let's light those engines. Slow her down. Got 1,800 meters per second to go. Bring our periapsis to, I'd say, around 120, 130. That'll do it. And swing around the dark side. This thing is getting to be more and more KSP2 look-alike every day. It shouldn't take too much of a burn to bring that apoapsis down to around 130. There we go. We have a nice orbit around Eeloo. I'm going to start looking for places to come down. Alright, well, we just finished lowering the orbit here around Eeloo. As you can see, it still looks quite impressive. We're going to be around 30-kilometer orbit, and that should give us some room to adjust our angle here, our orbit, as we're going to try to do a couple of things here. We want to come down in one of these valleys here. Probably this one looks like it's easiest to get to. But I'd like to try to hit one of these darker kind of craters up here. It'd be nice to get up really high up here. In fact, we may even try to dock with the interplanetary craft and use the main rocket here to adjust our inclination. But first of all, got to get our crew on board our lander. We're going to send down, of course, Valentina, and we'll need our scientist here, Raoul. Quick save for good luck. I think that button toggles the engines. I don't think I have one controlling the docking port. Okay. Hopefully that also engaged the RCS, and it did. Fantastic. This is basically a sister craft to the Jewel mission, and very similar actually to the Dres craft. Actually, almost 3,000 meters per second at delta V gives us lots of fuel to play with. Let's set up our descent burn. Hey, where's our pilot? That's weird. Well, either I didn't complete that transfer or something weird just happened. Alright, we've got a pilot aboard now. Let's try to get a landing burn. Alright, that should give us a pretty good descent corridor. We raise it up a little. Let's bring it around. Right, descend burn. Complete. Let's post it in here and enjoy that fantastic view of Eeloo. There goes our interplanetary craft. Glad that missed us. Alright, looks like we're coming up on that valley. Can't quite see it from here. Get an idea what it looks like. There we go, okay. Start slowing it down. Alright, looking good. Definitely looking like creme brulee from here, although it does look to be a little undercooked. Well, you know, we'll get out and have a taste anyways, just to make sure. And we did bring some coffee as well. What's the point of having creme brulee without coffee? You know what? Let's go this way here. Let's go right to the edge of this creme brulee crack. Swing that landing point around. Just about got her there. Sure do like that trajectories mod now. There we go, perfect. Let's set things to retrograde. Set to surface. So I assume this is the orbital line that we are following in relative position to the planet? Or to the... yeah, this is a planet. That's wild. So we're moving, the planet's moving, and we're going to catch up to it right there. Coming in, there's our shadow. Those cool parallax features there. Quite amazing. At the landing. Nice, looks beautiful from down here. Whee! Right. Let's make sure these colliders are on. Oh yeah, look at that. It's beautiful. It's shiny too. Great, let's get our sample. Does it taste like creme brulee? Chipping away at the ice's surface, you find some brown soil underneath. It might be brown sugar. You better have a taste. Ooh, nice jump there, Val. Ooh, did not stick the landing. Let's get our flag in. Oh, crazy. We're 334 meters below sea level. I love it. In fact, I'm going to call that this. Negative 334M. That is interesting. It's a big valley. Okay, come on out, Rowell. Smile, deep from the creme brulee valleys of Eeloo. Now, you know what? I have a wild idea here. I kind of want to see what the north or south pole of Eeloo looks like, and I don't think I have ever been anywhere near the poles in Eeloo. So let's do some reconfiguring of our Eeloo craft. This is going to be pretty tough. Let's retract the antenna. Keep our lights on. That's a good spot. Okay. Quick safe and good luck. Undocked. Wait, we do have SES. I don't know how we have SES, but we do. We have a probe on board. We must. How does he have all these pilot skills? Oh well, I'm not going to ask a lot of questions. What we're going to be doing is reconfiguring the spacecraft and putting the return craft down below where the lander came from, so that we can dock the lander to the top. Then we're going to move the whole thing, move the whole stack, and park it in a nearly polar orbit. So we make it a nice, easy polar landing. All right, hold on to your lunch. Going around. All right, that should do it. And this thing should fit, but it'll be tight. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our landing craft reconfigured. Let's say for good luck, reinstall those antennas, even though they don't give us any communication with Kirpin out this far. They still look good. Hey, somebody forgot to turn the lights on. Let's turn the headlights off on Val here. Don't worry, Val, it won't be dark for long. Alright, Eeloo dance party. Eeloo dance party. Oh yeah, it looks cool. Come on up, roll. Dizzy Val. He's a little taller than her. Is that my imagination? Alright, cool. Love Eeloo dance party. Let's shut down the party light. Set our target here. And quick save for good luck. Oh wait, we need to make sure we get some altitude here. There we go. Okay, let's pitch it over. We'll go to say 16 kilometers. That should do it. 17 will do. All right, 314 meters per second. 1583 left. Oh boy. I'm gonna check that Delta V map. Though Eeloo 620 meters per second each way up and down. That's not gonna give us enough for a polar landing. That's kind of a drag. Maybe there's some fuel on board we can steal. That adjustment burn to get us into the bottom of that crater really sucked a lot of fuel. Another 16.8 meters per second. About 7 minutes from now. Let's boost ahead. Not a big burn. check that inclination. Good enough. Okay, let's set up some sort of a rendezvous burn here. .5. We can get a little closer than that, I think. 0.1. Even better. 0. All right. All right, we got our rendezvous set up here in 25 minutes. Let's coast around to daylight here for that burn. Coming around to sunlight. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. Yeah, Games Links has really nailed the planet look here. That's fantastic. Look at that. Thanks, Games Links. Or is it just Links? Eeloo never looked so good. Oh, easy there, big shooter. Alright, got that inclination pretty nailed there. Got a separation of 0 kilometers in 17 minutes. Let's scoot around past the dark side. Alright, we'll wait till we get into physics range here, then we're going to jump over and have a look and see if there's any oxidizer on board this thing. We have, of course, loads of liquid fuel on board our transfer craft, but I don't think I brought a lot of oxidizers. I don't think I brought any, actually. Right, we're closing in on our Eeloo craft. Let's have a look at our resource monitor here. By alarm clock. Oxidizer. There is a little oxidizer on here. Oh wait, the oxidizer's on board our return craft here. Is it all there? We're docking here pretty quick. We've got to scoot back over as soon as we can. Oh wait, I know. I can do this. I forgot. Oxidizer. Where's oxidizer? Oh, yes. All those little baguettes down there. Uh-huh. I could probably use that. Okay. Alright, well we got those baguettes on board, which were originally brought along just to power the fuel cells, but I think we can steal some of the fuel out of them. Alright, coming back into daylight. 2.5 meters per second. Let's drive it in. Yeah, we'll rob the fuel from the baguettes and refuel our lander. We'll reconfigure for a polar landing, and then we're going to come down. Why South Pole? Why not? Make it something interesting. That'll do it. Put on the baguettes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4, 8. All right, got our 8 baguettes locked in. Let's refuel our lander. Anything that's left over, we'll just dump back into the baguettes when we're done. Yeah, we're getting full oxidizer. Gonna be pretty close though. I'm watching these meters here. These are going down. This one's filling up. We're not gonna quite maximize it. Oh well. We are empty. Alright, so we need to balance out these 2 tanks. Let's turn these off. Now we have a unbalanced lander. This is going to work for us. So this has 28, 28, 28, 20. Yeah, that's a... Wow. Alright, so we're stealing a little bit of the fuel from our return craft. Ideally, we wouldn't have had to burn it anyway. I don't know why I can't transfer fuel out to balance out the return craft, but our lander is now fully fueled. Let's set up a couple of maneuvers to get ourselves into a polar orbit. We'll push ourselves out to the edge of Eeloo. That's pretty good. Don't want to go too far. 40 days. days. That's about right. You're on target and burn in around 2 minutes. Okay, let's give ourselves a nice tall elliptical orbit. We'll adjust our inclination out there, and then we'll lower our altitude again. Should give us a pretty efficient plane change to a near polar orbit. Good enough. We'll also try to burn our periapses down as low as we can here. Any fuel that we don't burn on the landing to the pole, transfer back into the main craft here. I don't think we're going to run into any kind of a fuel problem, but you never know. Oh yeah, South Pole looks far more interesting. All kinds of terrain down there. Not much up here. Okay, yep, South Pole it is. Looks kind of trippy and just speed here. Wow, that's crazy looking. So what's that altitude? That's our, yeah, 16K, perfect. 17K, close enough. Yeah, we were a long ways out there. How's our Joule mission doing? Must be getting pretty close. Yeah, 102 days to our Joule encounter. That's excellent. We'll be just wrapping things up here on Eeloo when we're just showing up in Joule. Perfect timing. There we are. Wow. All right. Slow down there, nice and abrupt. All right. Well, this is going to get us down into a South Pole Eeloo landing. I've never been to the South Pole at Eeloo. That's very exciting. And we also have our Joule mission coming up here in 85 days. So we're at really good timing here. Ooh. Came around fast. Okay. Let's undock. Quick save for good luck. See, Addard. Going back down. I think our RCS is a good monoprop, yeah. This thing doesn't burn a lot. Cool to come down right on the edge of that big crater there at the South Pole. So let's kind of aim here, there, and we'll do some adjusting burns as we get a little bit closer. All right, our descent burn coming up here, 98 meters per second in about 2 minutes. Okay, we're coming down now. Oh wait, I guess we turn the engines on. That'll help. Alright, let's go check out that South Pole. See that camera making its awkward adjustment as we fly over the South Pole directly. Doesn't look quite as deranged as some poles, though. I've seen the Moon South Pole looks pretty crazy. Duna South Pole looks pretty crazy. This doesn't look too crazy. Alright, try to come down right at the edge of this big crater here. Nice, right down the edge of this crater. I don't want to go too far in. I want to keep some light there. Not that we need it. There's no solar on this, of course. Oh, just dip down below the level of the sun. That's alright. We got our party lights here. It's a little steep, but I think we'll manage. Alright. Welcome down to the South Pole. Let's have a look and see what things look like. Alright, Val, take a sample. What do you think? Eeloo's craters, the rocks contain thin wisps of color. They remind you of lovely ion exhaust trails. Well, that's beautiful. Well, I was hoping for some creme brulee, but that's still cool. Oh wait, we get a flag down here. Since we've come this far, plant our corporate flag. I'm not sure there's anything more picturesque down here, but there's Eeloo South Pole. We did it. Okay, let's shut down those disco lights. They just burn electricity, which means they're burning fuel, as their own fuel cell powered. Where the heck is our rocket? There we are. There we go. Oh, we're into some light now. Okay, cool. What's up there? What do we have here? This is cool. Yeah, we can't take a sample of it, but it looks cool. Nice. I love it. Nice landing, man.